Ladies and gentlemen, class photography is not permitted during the competition. Brunswick, we are ready to begin competition.
Mark.
The Impair has
Just a few weeks.
The Impair has 5. The Impair has 5.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2015 USBC Open Championships. It's been a while, but we are here live at the Paso Convention Center. This is Matt Canizaro alongside Aaron Smith, and we've got an exciting broadcast for you tonight, of course. The long-awaited 11thframe.com, a popular broadcast each year here at the Open Championships, and this year, no different, as the group looks to chase down that number on top of the standings, 33-68. They certainly are one of the most prepared groups at the Open Championships. We'll have the lineups and the details for you here in just a minute. Aaron Smith, welcome back from all your worldly travels.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome to everybody already joining us here. Lively crowd here for the 5 p.m. team event at the 2015 Open Championships. But the 11thframe.com will do that to you. Even Mike Flanagan's out here, so that's, they mean business today. But we should be looking forward to a solid show. These guys, as you mentioned, one of the most prepared groups out there. We'll see how it works. Not the best opening shot for Hall of Famer Jeff Richgels, but hey, it could have been worse.
Say the first couple shots often are the toughest, and if you were anywhere near Facebook today, you certainly got an eyeful of the 11thframe.com guys and their time so far in El Paso. Notably, Gail Myers Jr. posting as the event approached, the butterflies showing up even after 25 plus years for some of these guys. It still gets you walking down center aisle and seeing those Eagles up on the scoreboard.
Already slapping out spares. It's going to be a long night.
Well, these gentlemen certainly are entertaining, and they've had some great moments live on Bowl TV, and a big fan base for Mr. Richgels. If you don't believe me, read the blog.
Ha. You forgot the hashtag.
So each one of these gentlemen seems to have a role on the team. I know we talk about that each time they are on Bowl TV, and why should this time be any different? Jeff Richgels does all the legwork, gets everything organized, gets the teams registered, and also works at the jerseys and such. As you can see, some Packer colors here in 2015.
I was going to comment, those are terrible colors. Yeah, the green and gold, that's just not a good combination. I have way too many people from Wisconsin sitting around us. I gotta be kind of quiet when I say this, but yes.
A little bit cheesy?
It's a bit too much for me, but then again, I'm a dedicated Chicago Bears fan, so the sight of green and gold is rough on the eyes regardless. So, but other than that, they're very nice jerseys. So. And other than Mr. Richgels, very nice start for both teams.
Well, if you're curious about the strategy or the ideas coming in for these guys, Riggs doesn't really keep too much of a secret. He'll post it out there for you. He did so. A lot of research goes in as soon as the patterns are released before the tournament starts. This year, March 7th was that date. And then Steve Richter goes to work. He's the information guy and starts working on looking at the pattern and different equipment choices, how it breaks down, and certainly does his homework before they all get together for some practice sessions up at his bowling center. And then Gail Myers, Mike Shady, and Mark McDowell, well, they're here just to throw strikes. That's what they do. And tons of them. Gail Myers around the top of the lifetime average list for a handful of years. Mike Shady has never bowled under 1900 in his career here, and he will be on top of that list after the 2015 event. So lots of accolades, of course, for all of these team members. Aaron Smith, very entertained by the folks in the chat room tonight. He's giggling uncontrollably off to my left here.
Like I said, when Mike Flanagan comes around, you got to up the game and have a little fun. But yes, Mr. Cannizzaro, you mentioned the accomplishments. It's part of the reason we were a little bit late today. It just takes that long to let folks know what these gentlemen have done here at the Open Championships, and that's just at the OC. If we had to do everything, this 5 o'clock squad would probably be starting at 6:30.
Well, 16 champions on this squad, 8 of them on this featured pair of lanes, 25 and 26 here at the El Paso Convention Center.
But yeah, we'll start with 11thframe.com, number 1. Mark McDowell, a 2-time champion here, part of the 2005 Team All Events and 2011 regular team champs. Also a 5-time titleist on the PBA Tour, including 3 in the 1992 season, one of those being the Firestone Tournament champions. He is the 1986 PBA Rookie of the Year and PBA President for the 91-92 campaign as well. Mr. Richter, a 3-time champion here, along with the Team All Events in 2005 and a regular team title in 11. He's also the 2005 regular doubles champion with Mr. Richgels. Richter also USBC Silver Coach. You kind of mentioned his job of being the guy who kind of researches, plans, and prepares, but he's also one to certainly help out in the bowling community. Jeff Richgels, 5-time champion. Way back in 1986, got his first regular team Eagle. He was the All Events champion in 1997. That was the famed 90 clean year. And then the 2005 doubles title with Richter, Team All Events in 2005, and regular team in 2011. He's come close at a few perfect games. Here, back in 93 in doubles, had a 299, and back in 05 in that title run, a 298 with, I believe, is it a 5-7?
Pretty sure that's what it was. But that day, pretty exciting at the Baton Rouge River Center. They actually had the place to themselves when they took the lead in Team All Events, because they certainly get their money's worth and took their time that year. And at some point in that afternoon, Mr. Richgels let out a too bad that was so loud as he ran it out about 16 lanes, and rightfully so, as they went on to, of course, claim 2 Eagles that year. And as he recently wrote about, that was the moment that things kind of changed for the team, and at that point, everybody had that orange eagle next to their names on their scoreboard, so it took some of the pressure off, and now they can go out there and just do what they do.
All right, moving on to Gail Myers Jr., 2-time champion here. Was the average, or lifetime average leader, fell to second behind Mr. John Janowitz. He's got 2 300s on the championship lanes and
a double eagle winner.
Double eagle winner, yeah. And of course, wrapping up the lineup there, we see him deliver a strike. Mike Shady, 2-time champion here, has never been under 1900, and we'll just assume he's going to do it again this year, but he'll get his 20th tournament in, so that'll give him a chance to take over the top spot of being the tournament's lifetime average leader. Mike also won a title on the PBA Tour back in 1992, the Earl Anthony PBA Open. Moving on to the 11thframe.com too. Certainly a talented group as well. They sometimes get lost behind these guys, but definitely some players out there. Mike Walters leading off, making his 25th appearance, a lifetime average of 202. John Witkowski making his 35th. He was part of that 86 team along with Richgels. So is Brett Faulkner. That's how he earned his eagle up there, and also had a 299 and 819 way back in 1991. Thomas Howery is the 1991 regular all events champ and had a 298 during his singles event back in 99. And wrapping up, Dan Getford making his 22nd appearance, lifetime average nearly 205 out here. So I'd say that was the condensed version of those guys, but it still took a while.
Well, you know what, folks? We've been doing this live streaming thing since 2010, and I can tell you, and I don't know why, other than having the most updated participation records, we actually do that research every year. I think this year we're going to do the smart thing and at least file it away and have the paperwork on hand for next year's 11thframe.com appearance, should the fans demand it. Last year, remember the uproar that we had when we decided to mix things up a little bit and show their doubles and singles. And I thought they were going to come drag us out of the office during the team event. Mike Flanagan came to the rescue and really showed what he could on his phone. So we learned our lesson, and we're back here for the team event here in 2015. So let's see what these guys have. 3368, big number. And I know that Adam Barta and his team NABR guys are no doubt watching tonight. And if the ones that aren't are going to get updates, I'm sure, depending how things unfold here. And it'll take just under 3,200 to make the top 10 at this year's event. So scores on the rise a little bit as we get to our super busy time here. Late May and June are jam-packed, as we said. 16 champions on this squad, a lot of talent coming this way.
Gale saws the 5-pin there. Definitely got to take the hits when you get them too. So. There's one thing that the 11thframe.com does. They bring in a crowd. Standing room only here around lanes 25 and 6. Handful of celebrities in attendance. Surprisingly, no Amigo Man though.
So the world famous Eagle Dusters, as they're called, not able to make the trip this year to El Paso, but at home watching live on Bowl TV. Thanks for joining us, Eagle Dusters, and everybody else. Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith back at it here at the Open Championships. A lot of celebrities, and I hope these bleachers can hold this crowd. Of course, 2 more broadcasts coming up this week. Aaron Smith flying solo. We'll have more details about that as the night progresses. We're not even halfway through game number 1 here. long way to go. 3 games of team competition. If you're curious about the lane conditions this year, you can visit bowl.com/openchamp. Click on the lane conditions tab. And of course, every year since 2013, 2 different lane conditions to definitely challenge those folks headed our way. We got coast to coast folks tuning in. Even one Casey Canizaro wanted to see what the big brother's up to here in El Paso.
Hello, Casey.
Nice crowd, I'm sure will grow as the night progresses. And of course, Lucas Wiseman also hard at work over on Extra Frame this week. So a little bit different now with the PWBA kicking off. That's right, folks, the Ladies Tour back in action. And all live streaming from those events, wire to wire, will be shown on Extra Frame. So make sure to check that out. Queen's TV show will be live on Tuesday night. You can check out bowl.com for details. Otherwise, watch Extra Frame all week long to see the top ladies in action. It's going to be a nice season for the PWBA, so welcome back to them, and congratulations to all of those young ladies getting to live their dream.
Certainly so, and you'll get to experience that firsthand. Head to El Paso Airport tomorrow morning.
Bright and early. 7 a.m. flight out of El Paso, stop in Chicago, head to Green Bay.
I can't believe you're leaving me in charge for that long. That's crazy.
It was bound to happen, Mr. Smith. Long time in the making. Technology will allow me to check in on you, so be on your best behavior.
Nice mixer there by Brett Faulkner. 3 out of 4 for him here in the early going. And while we have your attention in the early going, I'd like to thank our gold industry partners, Columbia 300, Hammer, Kegel, and Storm, for their continued support of the USBC Championship tournaments. And of course, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. 11thframe.com. It's like a yearly tradition.
A lot of talk out there about game plans and strategy, and Richgels put it all out there for you to check out. And now we're watching things unfold here on lanes 25 and 26 at the El Paso Convention Center. Bleachers overflowing, even the ones next to us. So these guys have not disappointed over the years. Even at one point, saw them roll the highest game in tournament history on the way to the team title.
I was there.
Aaron Smith was there. A recreational role, but there nonetheless, and that score, of course, has since been beaten a couple times over. 13-18, the new number in the record books. And that would be a monster number here in 2015. Again, 3368, the number on top. As I'm looking at my cellular device here, Mr. Smith, so many red circles notifying me of things happening. And you can find us all over Facebook, the Sport of Bowling USBC, Matt Canizaro USBC, and of course on Twitter, at USBC Matt, at USBC Aaron, and at USBC. So many notifications of everybody checking in, asking questions. Feel free to drop those our way. We're glad to answer what we can. A lot of good chatter in the chat room. I'm sure a lot of great information will be shared there as well. But don't be shy.
But be appropriate.
Very important. Or you'll be incinerated.
Almost LOL'd on the air there, Mr. Canizaro. You did mention the 3368 up on top. Team NABR, they got there with games at 10:57, 11:23, and 11:88, so they got progressively better throughout their block. And, of course, the Big 10 frame from Brian Wallachek, Mike Rose Jr., and Rob Gottschall, all needing doubles to get there. To jump ahead of Junior Team USA Support 1, who was at 33.59. Rounding out the top 5, Lynn's Lakers won out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, 32.97. Fran's Pro Shop Maple Lanes out of Waterloo, Iowa, 32.36. And hashtag Team Dole out of Cleveland, 32.31. That's your top 5 to make the top 10 currently, 31.78. We mentioned Junior Team USA Support 1. These guys also trying to get a head start towards team all events. That number 10,064, 3 years in a row for Junior Team USA Support number 1 to reach the 10,000 number. They won it in 2013 back at the National Bowling Stadium. See if it's enough this year. Shot by Gale there. Hasn't missed on lane 25 yet. A few spares on 26 to start. Something you don't see very often here at the Open Championships. Mike Shady working on 2 opens in a row. Let's see if he can right the ship here in frame number 5.
Well, there's been a few years where he just wanted to make things dramatic and needed to shoot 279, 299 to get back to 1900. Keeps it exciting because perhaps after all these years, how much fun could it be just coming in and shooting 1900 no problem every year? Gotta mix it up a little bit.
And that's how you shoot 1900 plus every year.
Perfect fifth frame for 11thframe.com 1. A little bit of a roller coaster so far, but these guys often are all about the strong finish. Grind it out in game 1, especially this year on this challenging lane condition. Check out the graphs, pole.com/openchamp.
Lane 26 giving the 11thframe.com 1 fits right now. Just 2 strikes so far between the second and the fourth, and all but one of their opens is taking place on that pair. See if Riggs can get it going here with the double. That's more like it. Great shot there from the Hall of Famer.
when these guys won team all events back in 2005, a winning score 96-98. That was, well, it definitely was a challenging year on the lanes. They did win doubles with 1,500, but to see 96-98, that would be probably outside of the top 10 this year, or pretty close.
Maybe when it's all said and done. Right now, 96-98 would be fourth.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely a lot of parallels between challenging condition here and maybe looking back all the way to that tournament 2005. Only had 12 300s, I believe. No 800s. We've only had 5 300s here, no 800s so far through the 2015 campaign, past the halfway point. So.
A lot of great chatter in the chat room, and if you have any questions, certainly send them our way, or you can find some great information on bowl.com. Just go to the Open Championships page. You can find past results, individual results from bowlers this year or previous years going back to 2005. You want to see who bowled honor scores here at the Open Championships. All of that available. Bowl.com/OpenChamp graphs of this year's lane conditions, past lane conditions. Tough spare shot there for Richter. All 10 pins on the deck. So a little bit of a rough frame there. But definitely never count these gentlemen out, as they proved to us back in 2011. If it's possible on paper, they're going to go out and get it if they can. 1281 to win the team title that year. Pretty solid performance. Even Mr. Smith was impressed as a participant in the event on that particular squad.
Great shot from Riggs there. Yeah, it was quite a moment. We were actually well, I guess if you count center aisle, we were 3 pairs away, but we were on 25 and 6. They were on 29 and 30, and got off to a little bit of a slow start. And, you know, after hearing the announcements in the squad room and having them all honored for everything prior to that point, it was, you know, pretty impressive. And obviously I've known about these guys from working the tournament a little bit. And start off a little bit slow, and then game 2 got a little bit stronger, and just looking up there, it's like, wow, they need a big number. And then all of a sudden, like through 4 frames, I think 3 of them had the front 4, and the other 2 were 3 out of 4. So at that point, it was kind of just enjoy the show moment. Those guys certainly did not disappoint, and still definitely one of my favorite things getting to see and to experience with my teammates. That's not only good times you have on the lanes, but a chance to see something pretty magical, whether it's a 50-year celebration, a trophy presentation for a defending champion, or just a jaw-dropping performance. And that fit the ladder that year.
Certainly up there. And of course, a lot of those great moments have happened at the National Bowling Stadium. That was one of them. Still, we're just halfway into the 2015 event. Kick things off on March 7th. We'll be here until July 12th. So about 3,600 teams or so still left to come through. And we're looking forward to it. We'll be here often with a live broadcast here on Bowl TV. If you want to see that schedule, visit the main page of bowl.com or the information tab on the Open Championships page, and you can see the full schedule for the year for the OC and the Women's Championships in Reno, Nevada. Had some cool stuff happen live on the air out there last week. Linda Barnes and crew doing work, taking the lead. In team event, doubles, and all events for Tennille Milligan. Aaron Smith was out there to capture that. If you're curious how that unfolded, you can see that in the archives on Bowl TV, along with all the other great things that happened here in 2015, including Team NABR surging into the lead here and setting that number at 33-68.
Great shot there from McDowell, and not the shot John was hoping for there. Not too much harm done though, working on an open in the 7th. We already mentioned it earlier. 10:57, the number our team leaders, Team NABR, put up on the way to that 33-68. So it's kind of proven this year the first game isn't necessarily about coming out of the gates with a humongous number, but it's avoiding the big mistakes along the way and just not putting yourself in too rough of a position to make that climb. And obviously you hope whatever your team's game plan was is going to work in the end. And it's an exciting thing about these live streams. You never know how it's going to end up.
Well, some of them also a little bit of a roller coaster ride. A little bit of excitement at the end. Some of them start strong. I would say for the most part, especially this year, not a lot of disappointment. Definitely, if you're a bowling fan, enjoy good bowling. They've been entertaining. And possibly if you're taking notes at home, some good notes to help you find success here at the Open Championships. Of course, with that said, a few opportunities on site to help your strategy. The showcase lanes this year, just a short walk from the main tournament lanes. We have 52 lanes for the Open Championships, 10 showcase lanes, and they're separated simply by a wall. And the 11thframe.com teams, they know, they've done their homework, they've practiced at home, but they know there's no better way to simulate the competitive environment, especially this year, than on the showcase lanes. The lanes were installed at the same time as the championship lanes. They're oiled with the same pattern and the same machines. So they went out there and took advantage. They spent 2 hours on the showcase lanes today. Back-to-back practice sessions on this team pattern, so they can work on their game plan and see if what they saw at home is going to help get the job done here in El Paso. for 1 hour on a pair of lanes at the showcase lanes. Great shot there by Richgels on the washout. 1 hour will cost you $150 for up to 10 people. And of course, they did 2 hours, so $300. And hoping that will translate into some prize money at the end. And if you only have one team, an opportunity this year to get one lane for an hour, $75. So regardless, $15 a guy. For many teams, worth the price of admission. Just to get comfortable with the environment here at the El Paso Convention Center, the approaches, the temperature, or the environment here in El Paso weather-wise. We are out in the desert, hot in the day, cool at night, and the occasional rainy day, as we've had a couple this week. And of course, the other opportunity on the showcase lanes, the Bowlers Journal Championships presented by USBC. And that's your opportunity to see the doubles and singles lane condition. Of course, some varying opinions of the value of the Bowlers Journal. But if you're interested in winning a little bit extra prize money, get some games in while you're here, or just want to get a look at the fresh condition for doubles and singles, that's your chance. 3 games across 3 pairs. A lot of money up for grabs, including $10,000 in the singles category. And you can find details about all of those things on the Open Championships page on bowl.com. Feel free to reach out and contact us for more information. Foundation frames underway here. Mike Shady's gonna wrap up the 8th frame. Mark McDowell wasting no time getting that 9th frame underway.
Let's see if Richter can get it going here. Some struggles from the 3-time Eagle winner here early on. Shot by Michael Walters to set up the 10th for the last 5 for him.
Well, as the crowd continues to grow, looks like if we're going to see what's going on, we're going to have to stand up here. We're in the top row of the bleachers at the El Paso Convention Center. Matt Canizaro alongside Aaron Smith, and a standing room only crowd as we watch the final 2 frames of game number 1 here. 2015 team campaign for 11thframe.com. A couple talented teams nearby as well, Mr. Smith. 1 pair to our left even. From Michigan, led by Brunswick's John Prokopek. So we'll keep an eye on them as they roll through here. Again, we had 16 champions on this squad. And there's 5 Eagles. Classified champions down on 51 and 52. And of course, the gentleman simply known as 4. John Slavich rolled a perfect game at the Open Championships in Reno. And making his return with a new group this year. Due to injury, previously missed his team's participation in El Paso, Gary Green. Rolled a 300 game in Reno as well. Part of the Lens Lakers crew, typically. So nice to see him on the lanes here, getting his year in.
Great shot there by Howery on lane 26. Looks like the 11thframe.com number 1 can still get to 1040, the real big 10th frame. .11frame.com 2, right around the same max total here in game 1.
Frame already underway for team number 2. Now Mark McDowell is going to get things started off for 11thframe.com 1. 4 of them struck in the 9th frame. And we've seen a lot of pins lost and a lot of pins gained in some 10th frames this year. Crucial time for success here at the Open Championships.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very good point this year, Matt. Just look at our 2 team leader, or the 2 big scores we have up on top of the team event. Junior Team USA support number 1 had a few opens in their first 2 games in the 10th, but had a humongous finish to get to that 33.59. And in game 2, Team NABR working on 5 strikes going into the 10th. Not one of them able to double. They made it up with a huge 10th frame. We already talked about it. Wallachek, Rose, and Gottschall all delivering doubles to get to the number.
Characteristic for Mark McDowell in the 10th frame, 9 out for 186. Guys definitely putting themselves in position to have some work to do. the rest of the way. The sprint, 3 games of team competition. Wait and prepare all year for this, and it is over before you know it. So Richgels, the first to capitalize on that strike in the 9th frame. He delivers on the first shot, stepping up now on lane 26 for his second effort here in the 10th frame. Goes light. 2-4-5.
Briggs will still be in the 220s. I know last year kind of a difficult roller coaster for Jeff, fighting some injuries along the way, and the team put together a great effort and did something they had never done before and cracked the 3,500 barrier, but wasn't quite enough to get to the lead at the time. Obviously 37:20 ended up being the number. I know Jeff kind of felt he might let the guys down a little bit, wasn't 100%, so it's nice to see him get off to a nice strong start here in 2015.
And he made it up to them with brand new jerseys here for El Paso.
Still can't get over those colors.
Richgels doing what he does, staying clean here in game number 1. Now it's going to be up to our top 2 average guys, Gail Myers Jr. and Mike Shady. Statistically, it makes sense for them to be bowling 4-5 in the lineup. No doubt. If you need the big shots in the 10th frame, Mike Shady's the guy you want standing there. Same thing we've seen out of John Janowitz and Rob Gottschall in the past. Guy in the 4-hole sets things up, and you want your anchor bowler to step up and get you there.
Gale able to get the first one like Jeff, unable to get the second hit. He'll be in the 220s as well. And to Susie, it's They are great jerseys, I will give you that. It's the fact that I have to watch the Bears lose to them every year. This is my off season of not getting to see green and gold dominate. And here it is. But yeah, Jeff gave us a little sneak preview a few days beforehand, sent some pictures over, so we were joking about that already. These guys definitely look like a team ready to compete every year, and obviously we know from experience they certainly can do that. You can still get to 974 with 3 strikes from Mr. Shady.
Nice break there on the 9, going late. Mike needed a break here. Three opens this game so far. That's one way to not have to worry about spares or splits. Mr. Smith, I hope the fire marshal doesn't come out to watch a little bit of bowling tonight at the Paso Convention Center. There's no room up here in the bleachers at all.
And definitely standing room only for those in attendance. Saw Dave Armstrong here a little bit earlier. Not sure where he ran off to, but those guys will be bowling in just a few days. Armstrong putting 1 and 2. Featuring Horton Nation. All 3 for Shady gives him 189, 974 for the 11thframe.com number 1, 912 for the crossing team, 11thframe.com number 2. So for those guys, you kind of have to feel when it's all said and done, Matt. 974, not the worst thing that could have been with kind of the way that game went for a few of those guys.
Not a bad start at all, and we've seen teams in or around the top 10 be around that 1,000 mark or just under in game number 1. And of course, strategy we heard a little bit about playing with some surface early, and the goal there, of course, to try to open up the lanes a little bit as the night progresses, and we'll see if that pays its dividends. Sometimes that means grinding a little bit for the big finish. We'll find out here shortly. Game 2 underway. Martin McDowell stepping up on lane 26. Mark throwing some new equipment here in 2015. Motive guy. Also know that he's been having some neck trouble. So not sure. You saw him grab his neck there after that first shot. Not sure if that's playing any role in tonight's performance. But as they say, as they approach raisin status, that tends to happen, the wear and tear of a lifetime of bowling. We saw that earlier in the year with USBC Hall of Famer Bill Lillard Sr. making his way to the record books as the all-time pinfall leader here at the Open Championships. 124,087 pins. And this year using a one-step approach, having some knee and hip issues, so unable to go with his full approach. I heard rumors this week that Mr. Lillard might be hanging things up here at the Open Championships. I find that hard to believe, and It'll be a sad day for the Open Championship should he retire. But we'll see what 2016 brings. I can tell you that Sil Thiel already registered for next year's event in Reno.
Sil the Thrill.
Mid-March, Mr. Thiel will be here on the championship lanes for tournament number 71. That'll be a record-tying appearance. Bill Dorman and Joe Norris, both USBC Hall of Famers, participated 71 times. And Sil was here in El Paso for number 70, received the new 70-year award, and so much attention from the local and national media. And you can't imagine the hoopla surrounding number 71 next year. So again, mid-March for Sil Thiel. Looking forward to that. And if you would like to register for next year's event, that is possible. Just go to bowl.com/openchamp. All the details are there. Register online, take care of everything electronically at your convenience, in your pajamas even. And if you're interested in coming to El Paso, you've heard great things about the city and the food and all the people here. Get on bowl.com, get your team together, or check out the subboard. And come on out, plenty of room before we wrap things up on July 12th. We're only halfway there, so still plenty of time. And still plenty of time for 11thframe.com to make some noise here in 2015. 9:74 start, 9:12 for Team 2. 3368 is the number they are chasing. So not a lot of pins to give away, but still anything's possible, and we've seen these guys prove that.
Very true. Thinking to our early team leader, Andy Storm out of North Dakota. They didn't crack 1,000 the first 2 games before having a monster game 3. I believe they went 12-23 to get into the 3140s. They've since fallen out of the top 10, but that was kind of the first solid number we got to see this year after had a few folks struggling to get to the plus mark. And looking at the top 10 right now, 2 of the teams in the top 10 didn't crack 1,000 the first game, so Coach K's scholarship sitting in 10th, went 952 before games of 1151 and 1075 to get to 3178. And sitting in 7th, Calumet College of St. Joseph out of Whiting, Indiana. Went 963 in the opener before games of 1110 and 1122 for 3195. So
A lot of familiar names in the chat room, and 600 now watching here on Bowl TV. Thanks for joining us. This is Matt Cannizzaro alongside Aaron Smith, live from the 2015 USBC Open Championships here at the El Paso Convention Center. A lot of great bowling online today. Lucas Wiseman out in Green Bay at the USBC Queens and Senior Queens, bringing that to you live through Extra Frame now, the new live streaming home of the PWBA. And I'll be headed that way tomorrow as they wrap up qualifying and get ready for the exciting double elimination match play portion of those events. We'll have all the details for you on bowl.com and, of course, live streaming the rest of the week.
you're not going to bring me back any souvenirs, are you?
We did about a 79.
We'll get you something green and gold for sure.
They drove all around and they had, yeah, they took them off and there's some cone and they had more.
Maybe some squeaky cheese curds as well.
They got laid more from those cones.
Get you a cheese hat to fit over your headphones for the live stream. That should be a bet. Bet Aaron Smith something that will result in him wearing a cheese head.
That'd have to be a bet I'd be fairly confident that I would win.
I saw that.
Those are high stakes in the Bear-Packer rivalry. That's a tipping point.
Well, we've known each other a while, and I would say you're not the most successful bettor. Have your
That's true. My record against you, very poor over the course of the past 5-6 years. But
definitely your highlights and the various opportunities that we have. One, of course, happening right now. Our fantasy team all events. You crushed me last year, embarrassed me with what would have been a team all events record. I believe you won by 900 pins, something ridiculous.
That wasn't that much. It
felt like it.
It was only like 700.
Well, we decided to go with the same teams again here in 2015, and so far a lot closer. We'll get an update. Mike Shady, he's on that list.
It's true. He's your #1 selection from last year, so we do have the top 2 guys in all events so far, so
we sure know how to pick them. We'll try again next year. Perhaps we'll go with anybody but the 12 guys we selected already. Maybe get some others involved, make it interesting, and maybe bring the Cheesehead into play for 2016, if not sooner.
$636 pins, by the way.
Thanks for clearing that up.
See, it's not 900 at all. You're way closer than you thought. There's a guy who would be on a lot of lists. Gail Myers Jr., 226 in the opener. Starting off with a double here. He's looking pretty solid out there today. But then again, when you average 215, 216, 217 for a career out here, 217.1, it's kind of how it goes.
A lot of celebrities in the building so far this week. We see Bill Spikner and his wife Barb. Of course, they'll be on Bowl TV with some other Hall of Famers coming up. Don Scudder, Steve Fair, Rick Pollard, among others. Also saw Bob Learn and Amleto Monticelli walking around earlier. They thought Riggs and crew bowled earlier in the day. They hustled over here to check out the action, and we're about 5 hours too early. But
those guys are in town early.
They are lurking around.
Enjoying all that El Paso has to offer.
And that's a lot. As Bo Gergen pointed out when we were walking around town, going to the baseball game the other day, to throw out the first pitch. So much great food around, great people, great things to do. So if you're curious, check in with Bo Gergen for some of the highlights. Bowling wasn't one of them, except over at the Bowlers Journal Championships. El Paso, a delicious town.
Great shot from Richter there. Looks like different ball in his hand.
Aaron, I feel like there's some live stream bingo happening behind our backs here from the folks at home. We got the magic words being said today. Raisin, read the blog, too bad. Sure, there's got to be a few more that they're not letting us in on yet.
You know, Brooke, you're not going to move off that? That tells me a lot.
Waited till you guys sat down. You know what I did that.
Bit of an up and down here for 11thframe.com folks. 974 and 912.
415 out in the car, out of the driveway, 430.
Yeah, really haven't had anyone kind of
I love everything.
get going on a string of strikes here. A few doubles, a few three-baggers, but
Well, we do know they can strike, as they're all over the announcements for their striking ability as well. Jeff Richgels with a 298, 299 and 2, I believe. Yeah, Myers a pair of 300s and a 299. Mike Shady had 299 a couple of years ago. Throwing shots like that, mixing them up for the double. fourthframe.com, looking for some momentum here in game 2. Not a lot of room on the way to 33.68. Jeff Richgels with an open on lane 25. Last time up. Leaves the flat dime here in the 4th frame. Unable to capitalize on that strike.
Back-to-back 3.610s for Gale Myers Jr. Left the 3-pin standing in the 3rd frame. But you mentioned momentum just a few minutes ago, Matt, and that's if there's any team that can take advantage of a momentum swing, it's these 5 gentlemen in the green and gold.
Momentum swing. Is that a bowling ball reference?
It also works as that, sure. One of our gold industry partners way back in the day. I shouldn't say way back in the day, but maybe Shady will turn it around with that strike right there.
Just likes to keep things interesting and then string 10 or 11 in a row to get back where he belongs.
The more you think about his tournament career here, dating back to, let's see, 1996 in Salt Lake City. To just think about not only how the game has changed and obviously the equipment, the oil patterns, the technology involved in that, but even the tournament itself, how it's evolved to be that consistent over the course of that stretch of time is just a testament to how incredibly good Mike Shady is. .2133, his highest overall effort back in 2009 in Las Vegas. Had another 2100 in Reno in 07. Handful of 2000s and handful of 1900s. All right, Mr. Canizaro, as we are at the halfway point of Game 2 for 11thframe.com 1 and 2. Just got a text from one of your teammates, Mr. John Riffle, saying it's about a month away before you will trade in the suit and tie for a pair of bowling shoes and probably something a little more comfortable than a suit and tie and lace up. So be here before you know it. Great shot from McDowell to kick off the 6th frame. Mark, of course, a game changer. Being the first guy to use or introduce resin to the world. Tossing the Excalibur. His way to a title. I saw a few folks in the chat room talking about that. We want to thank everyone for their continued support here at Bowl TV and for joining us here for 11thframe.com number 1 and 2. We know they appreciate it. If you're curious to find out more about the bowl.com or Bowl TV schedule, go to bowl.com/livestream. We got all of the shows up through May. We'll have to get that updated soon, Mr. Canizaro. A lot of excitement coming up in June as well.
Not it. Delegating.
Not it.
Something to do while I'm away.
Not it and delegating. Apparently you have listened to Terry Bigham after all, so.
I'm trying to learn to be a well-rounded manager. Great shot by Gail Myers for the double. Coming off back-to-back open frames. So we are in the back half of game number 2. Just past the halfway point of this team event. The sprint, 3 games. Prize at the end, 33-68. Big number, Team NABR, led by Rob Gottschall. Very talented group, no doubt. They are watching closely, doing the math before they can relax and enjoy their Friday night.
Tough break there for Hauer. He sends a messenger, kicks it over. Just does not want to give him the double.
All prize checks from 11thframe.com and 11thframe.com too, made out to Susie Fever. I'm sure it takes a whole lot of pledge to dust all those eagles.
Really did do a great job on the jerseys this year, obviously. Just joking around with a few of my comments about the green and gold.
Are you though?
For on-air purposes, yes. But
A friendly rivalry.
I don't think it can be a rivalry if we never win. It's like they start off every year 2-0 already.
Lucas Wiseman having a little bit of fun in Green Bay at the USBC Queens. Appears they just had the highest 5-game total in tournament history. Kristen Kwa from Singapore, shooting 12.97, breaking a 5-year-old record set by Carolyn Doran Ballard in 2010, 12.94.
It's right here in this building. I know because I wrote about it.
Big scores, a lot of excitement, and all of that live for you on Extra Frame. We'll be there the rest of the week.
Richter's string of strikes ends at 4. So nice to see Steve turning it around after a rough first game. Definitely one of the good guys out there in the bowling industry. Does a lot of great work up in the Sheboygan area, which is also very fun to say. See if Shady can wrap up frame number 7 here with a double of his own. This guy's definitely on a much better pace than game 1. So you're gonna need a pretty strong finish to give themselves a manageable number here. Another 10 pin for Steve, back to back. Walters with the crumbler. 6 out of 8 for him so far in game 2, 212 in the opener. Looked like a pretty good move and shot from Riggs. Rang the 10. So hopefully on the right path.
Nice turnaround from Mike Shady here in game number 2. And he's working on a double right now, looking to get to the foundation here with some X's, and he goes high. Here's a 310.
Once again, this group just has yet to found that run, that momentum that we've seen them get here in the lanes before. That's always fun and exciting, and putting up a very solid game so far here in game 2, but just can't get the strikes rolling. Much like Aaron Rodgers, though, these guys have a flair for the dramatics. So we'll see what these final 2 frames have in store, and we'll have a number for you. See what these guys need to get to. Dowell didn't like that one off his hand, turned around.
Well, a lot of anticipation for these bowlers and for the fans coming in each year. And the chatter starts really in January or so when construction begins. Patterns get released just before the tournament starts this year. Kick things off March 7th. And then, of course, the months of preparation. Right down to the jerseys. A lot goes into being a team captain here and making things happen. the anticipation of coming to bowl, the travel, the side events, and then, of course, the butterflies walking down center aisle, wanting to go out there and perform like you know you can. And then unfortunate things like that happen. And some tough spares being missed here in this challenging lane condition. If you're curious what they're bowling on, visit bowl.com/openchamp. Click on the lane conditions tab. Looks like Jeff Richgels looking in the bag, thinking through this.
222 in the opener for Riggs. He's playing a little bit more direct in game one, and all these guys have migrated left for the game two here. It's 3 10-pins in a row for Richter.
Extra frustration being close. The slightest move could either be the right move or could be disaster.
John Slavich IV swinging by, talking to Riggs and company for a second while he's waiting for game 3 to start. Looks like 185 way down on lanes 5 and 6. We have all 52 lanes going here for tonight's 5 p.m. team event. Follow that up with the doubles and singles. New schedule here at the 2015 Open Championships. Not a bad time. Jeff is the king of the river dance. But new squad time starting with a 9 a.m. doubles and singles, followed by 1 p.m. another doubles and singles, 5 p.m. team event, and an 8:30 that switches back and forth between team and doubles and singles. So you're not bowling too early in the morning. Not staying here too late, so definitely a nice change of pace. Another nice change here at the Open Championships, always evolving.
Mr. Smith, it sounds like as things wrap up at the Queens today, folks in Green Bay tuning in to watch their fellow Wisconsin bowlers kicking back, drinking Bloody Marys at the grill, listening to the sweet sounds of Matt and Aaron on Bowl TV. I can't think of a better night.
You kidding? They all have the sound off.
It's the best part. A lot of folks downtown El Paso here for Al Fresco Friday. Live music right outside the convention center, great food, and some of them stopping in to see what's going on in their convention center. Of course, we moved in here first week of January, about 40 truckloads of materials. Took 64 days to put together the venue you see. 52 competition lanes, 10 showcase lanes, vendor office and concession space, locker room, squad room. A lot of hard work went into putting this venue together quickly. About 7,300 plus teams headed our way before we conclude on July 12th. And then we'll tear it all out. Donate what we can to a local organization similar to Habitat for Humanity, if not that exact organization, so that our legacy can live on a little bit here in El Paso after we go. And who knows, we could be back down the road. A couple open years in the 2020s early on, with also the possibility of going east, which is the hope for many. And then at the end of the decade, some open years. So looking forward to seeing what the future looks like for both the Open and Women's Championships in potentially more great cities like Reno, Las Vegas, El Paso, and the like.
Big double to kick off the 10th frame for Mark McDowell. Looked like another ball change. Some excitement from his teammates after that one too. Might have been off camera, but Gale and company getting into the action, having a little fun. Gonna watch 25 and 6, almost a collegiate atmosphere for these guys. Definitely not just kind of sitting back, relaxing, and they're talking to each other. They're watching. They're ready to bowl. It's their version. Obviously, McDowell was a standout at West Texas State back in the early and mid 80s. Three 10 pins in a row for Richter. Not happening there. I believe 1087, the number still out there for 11thframe.com one.
Aaron, the calculator Smith on top of things here, writing down scores, keeping track, and we'll know what it looks like on paper. 3368 is the number. That is a lot.
It's a warlock.
It is a warlock on a challenging lane condition. And they just barely got there with a solid finish. Now, it definitely could have been a lot more had they filled the 10th frame of game 2. But you gotta feel pretty good about that number. Definitely some nerves, I'm sure, as they watch the leaderboards and watch these top teams come through. It's gonna be a busy May and June for sure. A lot of talent coming our way.
Steve's gonna go to the bag for a second here. Not sure if he's. Looks like gonna try something different on the fill ball here after the nice break. And a second shot in the 10th. I suppose that would be the 11th frame. Whoa, that just happened. .224 for Walters. He had 212 in the opener. John Witkowski, 197 after 155. Nice bounce back from Steve, 237.
Well, strategy, of course, to open the lanes up and give you a better look as the night progresses, and clearly that's happening for the 11thframe.com teams. 974 and 912
And,
in the opener, and well on their way to surpassing that number here in game 2.
and let's see if we've been throwing around the word momentum all day. Let's see if maybe a big finish here will set the pace for game 3. Riggs flexing. I probably wouldn't have struck on that shot. Just saying. There's another double in the 10th for 11thframe.com.
3 for 3, filling it up here. A lot of pins out there for the taking. Definitely a nice recovery from a tough middle of the game. Terrible break there for Howery in the right lane. 4-7-10. Sorta.
All right, looked like a ball change there on the fill for Riggs as well. Gets to 198 after 222. What a 10th frame up to this point. Holy cow. Four doubles here in the 10th so far. This veteran group showing some moxie here. Shady unable to capitalize. Staring down 6-7 here. Makes a run at it, unable to cover though. Gives 11thframe.com number 1 1061 after 974. So these guys will have their work cut out for them in game 3. 1333 the number. For a share of the regular team lead here at the 2015 event.
Well, sir, they've done it before. The highest game in tournament history to get to the lead. So why not again here in 2015? Give the fans what they want. Some excitement here on Bowl TV. I don't know what could get more exciting than Matt Kinizar and Aaron Smith, but perhaps 1320 would do it. Like that, game 3 underway. Folks on the 8:30 squad already coming in to check out the action. Squad room now open for that squad. Doubles and singles coming up tonight. Aaron mentioned the great schedule earlier. Don't have to be here too early, don't have to stay too late. Again, I believe Aaron said 1323 is the number. 33. Even more work to do. So that's going to take 1 or 2 strikes. So see if Richgels can get things started here. So no strikes to start here in game 3, 0 for 3. Already down to 1470.
Just like that, goes quick.
.140 pins to play with here in the next 9.5 frames. And of course, the marathon of it, team all events, 10,064. That is a huge number. But we've seen crazier things happen. Back in 2011, K&K Bowling Services had a 3,100 team score and absolutely destroyed them in doubles and singles to get that T-ball events title. This makes for a little bit tougher day, but certainly possible. We got Myers getting ready to bowl on lane 25. See if he can be the guy that sparks this effort. Aaron Smith just saw the impossible. Walked right in front of us. Another Chicago Bears fan.
We're multiplied.
Well, what's not multiplying is the pinfall here for 11thframe.com. 0 for 4 in the first frame. Not a lot of room to work with. Sure, Adam Barda and Team NABR hoping that they can breathe easy here in a minute. And looking across the low side of the house here, 1 through 28. Looks like only one team cracked 1,000. And that was 11thframe.com won with 1061 in game 2. Looks like one other 4-digit effort, and that's on 29 and 30 across center aisle. Simi Valley, California. Simi Boys 2. Started with 1023, followed it up with 807. So we've seen some squads with excellent scores across the house, and some where strikes are just hard to come by.
Man, I'm getting beat up in the chat room now for being a Bears fan. Tough crowd today. Ugh. It's okay though. As a Cubs fan as well, there's always next year. And eventually, maybe Jay Cutler won't be our quarterback. So.
Well, I'd say that certainly gives you plenty of free time in December to get your holiday shopping done.
Kinda does, yeah. That's
not watching football on Sundays.
It's unfortunately true. It's all right though. I'll get over it.
Tough break there for Shady, trying to pick up the bucket. I hate that guy. Not Shady, the bucket. Let's clarify. Do not love shooting at that. 1383, the max number now by my calculations. 50 pins to play with. And we're only in the second frame. 2 strikes up on the board so far for 11thframe.com. That ball for McDowell not turning the corner. 10 does not cooperate. Twenty more pins.
Nice shot there for Riggs in the third. Having a little fun up there as well afterwards. Gale gets in on the fun as well. 11thframe.com too off to a pretty solid start.
Keeping the dream alive.
The early going of Game 3.
Have they gave me a raise
playing fourth arrow.
Aaron, I believe we had a big score last night in the team event. A Wyoming team cracking the top 10, is that right?
That is correct, Matt. Let's
It's
see
possible.
here.
It's out there. 3184 was the number.
That's correct. Orham Incorporated out of Bozeman, Montana.
So some weeks we've had a lot of big scores, and other weeks a lot of big participation numbers as far as years, and this week's been just a little bit quiet. Richgels making jokes, of course. Nobody wants to watch this anymore.
Said there's only 4 people left, and they're all making sure the Eagles are clean.
Say they'd probably be the first 4 out. Watching their prize checks.
We still have more than 650 watching live, so we appreciate everyone's support here throughout the day. Of course, all of our broadcasts always seem to get a good crowd here at the Open Championship, so we appreciate the continued support. If you want to look at what's coming up next on Bull TV, be sure to visit bull.com/livestream. I'll be flying solo as we feature the doubles and singles set of a very accomplished group. Handful of USBC Hall of Famers. Highlighted by Bill Spigner, Don Scudder, Steve Fair. So be sure to tune in for that. That'll be on the 19th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
Well, it looks like on tonight's broadcast, we're not going to have a new team leader. Certainly gave it their best, and you can probably read all about their performance in the coming days as Mr. Richgels puts together his thoughts. Big day tomorrow, doubles and singles.
Hashtag read the blog.
That potentially could be another one of those days where I get off the airplane in Chicago to a message or two, as I did in 2011. As Matt Wegan pulled back-to-back 800s that year on the way to the All Events title and the singles title. Emil Williams Jr. was blowing me up while I was flying. I guess that's not appropriate terminology at all. That was a very poor choice of words.
Upon reflection, yes, that was not one of your better moments.
But I did arrive in Chicago for a plane transfer and got the news. So I like surprises. Guess we'll find out tomorrow afternoon. Shout out to Mr. Jeff Ussery, who was in town this week with John Janowitz. They came to help Skip Hintz celebrate 50 years here at the Open Championships and took advantage of the opportunity, bowled a few sets at the Bowler's Journal. Got a look at how some of the other teams in the building were playing the lanes, took notes, and probably narrowed down their equipment choices, or at least realized there might be some changes to make before they come out June 9th and 10th. We'll have them here on Bull TV as well. The Lodge Lanes crew. 4 teams strong this year with a lot of young talent and some other superstars in their ranks, of course.
Had a question about the next upcoming live stream here for on Bold TV. That'll be on the 19th, the one we just talked about. The Pollard Bowl Group famously have a banner still hanging. The only one that hasn't been bested in quite a few years. Pollard's Bowl still holding the team all events record, 10,425 back at the 1996 event in Salt Lake City. Although some of the names may have changed, still a very solid group and have a resume a mile long.
right, Aaron Smith's going to step out for a minute to go chat with one of our 49-year bowlers. Get some info and a picture as he gets ready for number 50 next year in Reno. And if you're headed that way or would like to register for the 2016 Open Championships, you can do that at bowl.com/openchamp. Right now we're watching the final half of tonight's team event, Game 3. 11thframe.com 1 and 2. Gail Myers Jr. gets that one wide, but they've created enough area to get that back. So they needed 1333 here, according to Mr. Smith's calculations. Coming into Game 3, they're going to be short of that. Still a lot of room to grab some pins for Team All Events. So far tonight, Mark McDowell, 186-206. Steve Richter looks like 151-237. Richgels, 222-198. Gail Myers Jr., 226-219. And Mike Shady, Mr. 1900, 189-201. And for Team 2, Mike Walters, 212-224. Kowski having a nice effort here in Game 3. 155-197. Brett Faulkner, 193-163. Howery, 186-185. And Gepfert, 166-186. So there's your rundown. Again, team leader, Team NABR. By Rob Gottschall, 33-68. We'll stay on top for another day. Jeff Richgels, strike there in the 6th frame. We're in the home stretch now. 974 and 1061, first 2 games. All right, so 11thframe.com 2 going to wrap up frame number 6 with a strike there by Gepfert. Here's McDowell getting ready on lane 25 for the 7th frame. Working on a strike. Cannot get the 10 pin out. So still a decent number out there for both teams. Right now, just under 3,200, enough to get into the top 10. No record breakers on tonight's squad, although a lot of great bowlers out here. Doubles and singles coming up next. We appreciate everybody joining us. Again, this is Matt Canizaro alongside Aaron Smith. And you're watching live coverage of the 2015 USBC Open Championships. We've been here since March 7th. And we'll be in El Paso, Texas until July 12th. So just past the halfway point. A lot of great bowlers still headed our way. So things not going well here in game 3. They came in with a strategy, they stuck with it, worked through it. And I'm sure we'll see all the details. Possibly some vague thoughts later tonight from Mr. Richgels, and more later in the week at 11thframe.com. All right, here comes the 8th frame. Mark McDowell up on the right. Mike Walters on the left. Walters and Witkowski having a great game 3 here. And Walters leading the way. 212, 224. Not the shot McDowell was hoping for. 4 count on the spare. Another great shot by Michael Walters for the double. Trying to get himself into the 250s here in game 3. Some teams wrapping things up here, and we are not far behind here on lanes 25 and 26 at the El Paso Convention Center. Fantastic build. 52 lanes for the main competition, 10 showcase lanes. Pretty much everything you need under one roof, and a terrific host city. I'm sure the 11thframe.com guys will find a welcoming local establishments to sit down and talk about tonight's team event. Get their heads right for tomorrow for doubles and singles. All right, so the woes continue. Joe Myers shooting at the 410. Came at the end of a 3-bagger. Gave it a run. All right, so now under 1100. Possible score. Just trying to hang on at this point and get all they can. And just not getting the breaks here in game 3. Making a run for a 1,000 plus here in game 3.
Well, hello.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
I'm back. Got a chance to run over and chat with Mr. Robert Walker out of Ohio. He'll be celebrating number 50 next year, so got some quick information, a quick photo. Just in time to see the end of 11thframe.com.
A lot of head shaking going on.
Well, as I was waiting for Robert to finish up, I got a quick minute or two to chat with Jeff, and he just wanted to emphasize how incredibly tremendous the 3368 was. Jeff said if everything had gone their way and they had thrown the ball like they wanted to, he still feels they'd probably be 3250 range.
I'll take 3250.
3250 be all right, and But yeah, that was the first thing that Jeff led with was 33-68 is out of this world. I'm sure the guys with Team NABR agree with that and would like to see that score hold up. And at the same time, I'm sure they would be the first to congratulate anyone who would jump ahead of that number.
I think the highlight of the evening right now is that the 11thframe.com folks are right on pace with the rest of the squad.
That is true, yeah.
So small victories as we get ready to pack things up here shortly. Aaron Smith will have a couple more broadcasts coming up this week on Bowl TV. I'll be headed to Green Bay to assist Lucas Wiseman at the USBC Queens. So a lot happening in the bowling world. Of course, the start of the PWBA Tour, back from a 12-year hiatus. Top ladies in the world, 200 plus of them, at the Schwabenon Bowling Alley.
Also a fun thing to say.
I bet they'd like these green and gold jerseys up that way.
Bet they would.
We also have some news from the Women's Championship today. We'll be sending out something on that here in the next couple hours. So always on top of the latest news. And if you're curious about what's going on at any of our great events, visit bowl.com or find us on social media, Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook, or find me personally, Matt Canizaro USBC, and then on Twitter for the quick hitters at USBC. At USBC Matt and at USBC Aaron. A lot of great news shared, or news that's not quite news. We're just past the halfway point of this year's event. A lot of great teams still scheduled to bowl. Some already in the building before things wrap up in July. Now, 10th frame underway here, 11thframe.com, 1 and 2. Wrapping things up from here in El Paso. Trying to get to that 3,000 number.
Still have a max score of 30-77 out there.
How about that? Both on the same page, thanks to technology.
We're finally getting the hang of this thing. It only took
112 years.
112 years, 6 years of live streaming. We're finally on the same page. Kerry was not on the same page today. Lanes 25 and 6.
Well, we saw a lot of splits, a lot of washouts.
Those as well.
And the good shots, a lot of 10 pins, 4 pins.
Nice showing by Michael Walters. Consistent effort, 212, 224, and 225. Gives him 661. That's a nice ball in Michael. .570 in the books for Mark McDowell.
Well, Mr. Smith, we can't win them all. Not always going to have that 10th frame excitement, but appreciate everybody's support tuning in to see Hall of Famer Jeff Richgels. It's like Giggles, but with an R.
Ha. Is that how it worked in 2005 when they were taking over the doubles lead and yelling too bad all over the place? And you met him for the first time, a young punk kid like yourself. And hi, Jeff. My name's Matt Cannizzaro. Is he just like it? It's Richgels like Giggles?
Pretty much. And it actually happens quite frequently at the check-in counter, especially with our local folks who may not be familiar with the Richgels dynasty here at the Open Championships. But that's one way to get it right. But you're right, I had no idea who they were back in 2005 until, of course, Lucas Wiseman gave me the heads up before they took the lanes, and as he did many times back then when I was just a wee lad under his tutelage.
Let's see if Jeff can finish this game off the right way. Gets the first one in the 10th. 201 still out there after games at 222 and 198. After 151 in the start, Richter is able to get to 590.
Richgels late in game 3, plenty of energy after switching to 14-pound bowling balls.
It's all the diet do.
Big double there. Every pin very important for the march towards team all events. 10,064. Big number.
Great finish by the Hall of Famer. We'd expect nothing less.
Staring down 3,000. 2 bowlers to go. Gail Myers working on a strike. Mike Shady giving himself some work to do tomorrow. He will be your lifetime average leader after this event.
Nice cover for Gale. Taking care of the 3-6-7-10. So 6:39 for Myers, 6:21 for Richgels. Nice break there for Dan. Who says you need to hit the head pin to strike? All right, Shady gets the first one. He's going to be, or has a chance at 220s here. All right, every pin important here down the stretch. That's the kind of finish we expect from Mr. Shady. That'll give 11thframe.com $9.99 in the finale for 3,034. $614 for Shady in the effort. Myers leads away 639, Richgels 621, Mike Shady 614, Steve Richter 590, Mark McDowell 570, so a pretty consistent performance across the board. Know those guys were definitely hoping for something a little bit higher, but gotta be happy walking away with 3,000 this year. 11thframe.com 2 finishing up 1020 for 2887. Michael Walters leading the way with 661. Mr. Cannizzaro, take it away.
All right, folks, we hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage of one of our most prolific teams here at the USBC Open Championships. The crowd would not allow us not to show these guys, and hopefully either way you learned a little something tonight about this year's Open Championships. Again, 30-34 and 28-87, the two scores on our featured pair, lanes 25 and 26 here at the El Paso Convention Center. That is going to do it for tonight's coverage. Aaron Smith will be back online later in the week with two more great broadcasts. You can find all the details on bull.com/livestream. And that is going to do it for now. We appreciate everybody stopping by. That is the news for now, sir. And we'll see you on the lanes.